Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. This one's a bit of a different one. It's kind of an ideas video. I know it's a bit early for the ideas, but there's nothing really to talk about at the minute. It's kind of a bit dead at the minute, I'd honestly say, because the Wild West update for me, it hasn't been that great. It's been okay. It's been a meh update. It hasn't been amazing. So I haven't really been able to do many videos. I've already kind of covered, top tens and all that. I do have a Krusty Land tour video coming very soon, which I managed to record. So I'm gonna be showing you that anyway. So that'd be pretty cool to see. But well, I hope it is anyway. Yeah, it's not that boring. But but we're gonna be doing today. It's another idea. This is actually a dome. It's EPA / dome idea. So basically, a lot of people have, well, I say a lot. 2 people have asked me to add Russ, is it Cargill or something like that, into my ideas. 2 people now have asked me, so I figured I would, but, looking, when I was looking for an idea for him, there's nothing he can really come with, because the only episode he's actually in is the movie. He has, he's on little cameos and stuff, but he has not actually seen in any buildings. So the only building, well, there isn't really a building he can really come with, which makes it hard. And because obviously we don't know anything about his nationality, we don't know anything about his family or anything, or his hobbies, his activity. We know he's a government official, and that's it. That's all we know. And there's not really many government buildings I can really think of, apart from maybe the White House, that he could really come with. So I decided to come up with this idea. Basically, this is a whole Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 dome idea / EPA / kind of the movie as well. So yeah, let's get into Act 1. So this is Act 1. I've kind of made a little picture. Obviously, straight off the bat, all these things, I mean, there could be lots and lots more of decorations. I haven't really gone so detailed with the decorations. I just can't be bothered going over the movie and, taking screenshots for every little, unique decoration that's in the movie. But this is Act 1 anyway, so I think the dome is probably the most important thing to add into the thing, and Russ, with Russ, as Russ sort of running the event kind of thing, as like number 1 did in the Stonecutters event. I feel like that's really cool, and the Barbarian in the Clash of Clans, although that was a shit update. But it's really cool when they actually have a character that runs the update, and they actually introduce a new character. Obviously, they can't really do that like this point in the game, especially for the Wild West update, for example. It's kind of harder to do that for the Wild West. For Whacking Day, I really would have wished they had a Jebediah Springfield to actually run that, because it would have made so much sense. But yeah, usually they don't. Lately anyway, they don't really add characters to run the events. So I think Russ is really important for this event, and he'll be running it. The dome. Now, how the dome will work, and this is how I think it should work, is it shouldn't just be, a normal decoration or building that you place down. What I think it should be just like the roads, and just like the the roads and the pavements and all that. It should be like that. So you expand it to a certain bit of your town, but you get actually like a max limit to how much you can actually cover. And basically what I think should happen is, through the different acts and through the quest line, the dome gets bigger and bigger and bigger and covers more of your town. You can place it where you like, sort of thing. You don't have to place it exactly. If it covers over a building, it covers half the building, then so be it. It covers half the building. It'd be a hard thing to add, but that's how I think it would work. And also, if you just, after the event, you just didn't want it anymore, all you could do is you could just shrink it to a certain size, or you could just store it, or you could literally shrink it to a certain size, and maybe put it over like a building, like over like a brown house or something, or make a little neighborhood and put it over that, or you could just store it completely, or whatever. But I think that's how they should do it anyway, or maybe there could be like a destroyed dome. You could have like bits of the destroyed dome. I don't know, but I think the dome should be added more like a pavement than an actual decoration. Do I think it should earn money? No, not really. There's not really a point of it earning money or anything, and it wouldn't really work. So that's sort of my explanation of the dome. I know that's kind of took a while. But moving on, decoration that I think they should add, there's just the 2 ones here for the Act 1, is the EPA truck and the drill. The EPA truck is just, we see so many of them. There's also an EPA helicopter, they could add that. There's EPA, like, bigger trucks. There's lots of EPA stuff. that they can add different like vehicles and decorations and stuff. The drill is obviously French drill that he can destroy anything, but obviously it was outside the dome, unfortunately. So yeah, that can be there. And obviously if you place it inside the dome and tapped out, then that's fine, but they're not going to use it. They could have dug the whole thing. The whole movie, they could have dug a hole, let's be honest. The movie is a bit silly. But anyway, moving on. The other thing is, actually, this wasn't actually in the movie, but it was with an EPA scientist, and it was, Homer was told by the EPA he had to keep care of the Screamer Pillar. But this is the koi pond or something. The koi pond with the Screamer Pillar. This is the pond, obviously, the Simpsons buy. I forget where they buy it from, but it obviously has this rare caterpillar in it. And the Screamer Pillar, it will be really small, but I think it'd be a pretty cool thing. It could have maybe one or two tasks in it. I don't think it should have a full task line. They kind of stopped doing the whole one task thing, didn't they? Because they added the characters that literally only had one task or two tasks. They added like a full task for them, like Jub and Stampy and the Mutant Rabbit, and they could add quests for it, and I'd be happy with that as well. Moving on is the Hazardous Waste Treatment Center, and this will come with the Mutated Squirrel. Mutated Squirrel wasn't actually seen there, but it makes sense that he was there, if you know what I mean, because obviously he's an abomination, and they have to get rid of it somehow. Another thing that I think should be obviously added, as you can see in the picture, is the crap silo with Spider-Pig. Obviously he's already been added in the Superheroes update. He can just return. It's quite simple. Just return for the whole update, so you can buy him. Moving on, we have the Springfield Travel with Wally. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. I've just kind of placed it there. Wally himself was seen in the movie, and so was Springfield Travel, but they weren't like major plot drivers or anything. It was just building shown. It was also one that was shown boarded up. They could, when obviously Springfield kind of fell for a bit, they could just add it as that. They could just add it randomly. I mean, I've just kind of thrown it in there, but yeah, that could be added as well. Moving on is the Crushed Man, the guy who obviously gets crushed by the dome. There's not really much they can do for him. I've just kind of thrown these two ideas here just onto Act 1 just to kind of fill it up a little bit. But the Crushed Man, I mean, it could be a pretty gag. It could be an NPC, and he gets crushed by the wall or something. Crushed by the dome when you click on him. Or he could be a character with a full set of tasks. I mean, honestly, at this point, tapped out, is gonna have to eventually. It's gonna have to really, really scrape the barrel with characters. And although he was actually seen in a previous episode, like as a background character. So I don't know. They could do something that they could maybe make fun of him. Be getting crushed by the dome or something. I don't know. I don't know. Or he could just be an NPC. It'd probably be easier for him to be an NPC. Anyway, moving on to Act 2. So the first kind of big idea, I think, should actually be the White House with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is just a McBain lookalike. Now, I don't know if they can add him with, actually add the character of Arnold Schwarzenegger, because obviously he is a real-life person. I don't know where they kind of stand on that, because all the real-life people they've added into the game so far, apart from Matt Groening, have actually just been, they're dead. Obviously, they added George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and they're long dead. So, they're more like historical figures. When it comes to actually adding real people, I'm not really sure how they do it, because obviously there is a lot of characters that are based on real life. For example, Louis Sweet is based on Don King. Who else have we got? I'm trying to think who else we got. He's based on real life characters. I mean, there's others I just can't think of the minute off the top of my head. Oh, obviously, what's his name? Rainier Wolfcastle himself is based on Arnold Schwarzenegger, and obviously that's why Arnold Schwarzenegger looks like Rainier Wolfcastle at this point. So it could be a costume. I guess it could be a costume, and they could just call the costume Mr. President and give it to thing, but it is actually a different person in the show, so they could just add him as Mr. President instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But it'd be pretty cool to see him come with the White House, and the White House actually be involved, and maybe be a major kind of building. The other thing is the Red Rash Inn. This is the building that Marge and that hide at for a bit, and they stick at for a bit. It's just outside of Springfield. Again, they could add that. It's the Gas and Diner. This is another place they go to. They stop off across the way with the whole, the beef jerky with the photo on the wall. They could add. The next thing is actually the Springfield Cabin. This is actually in Alaska. We're getting into a sort of Alaska territory now. But yeah, I think that would be really cool to add as well, especially, with I really like the letterbox. I think that would be a pretty cool decoration to have, or, a part of the building. The Death Ball as well. and also the motorbike and the truck they get as well. I haven't got a picture of that, but they do get a truck, don't they? And they do get maybe the motorbike should be. But I think the death ball, you should click it, and then you have Homer do the death ball. Just a one task building, a bit like the KBBL and the movie theater and all that. But I think the death ball, obviously, there can only really be one task. This also could be added into Krusty Land, I guess. It makes sense to add it into Krusty Land, and actually, it'd be pretty cool if it was exclusive to Krusty Land, and I'd be pretty happy with that, because honestly, I'm not gonna bitch about one single decoration not being in Springfield when it is in Springfield and not Krusty Land. I'd be happy for it to be in Krusty Land, so that'd be pretty cool if they added that. Agent Malone as well, he's the EPA agent that obviously is looking for the Simpsons, and he's the kind of chief investigator for it. We don't get much with him, but he's got a name and he's got a little bit of story to him, so they could just add him and they could do some stuff with him as well. Him finding the Simpsons maybe. They can definitely add a full set of tasks for him for sure. And also then there's the Eskimos, which is obviously just a play on the Moes. With actually Grand Theft Walrus, which is a fictional character. It was obviously on a video game. Homer plays in the bar, but we don't actually see any of the barman or anything in the bar. So I think they should add it with him as the Grand Theft Walrus, because it was a pretty funny gag, and it's been seen before as well on The Simpsons as well. It's been seen quite a few times actually. They could just add it as an NPC as well, or maybe a full set character task. Either way, it'd be pretty cool to see it, because it's just one of those fictional characters in the fictional world, which is pretty cool to see. I guess we're moving on to Act 3, the final act. The main sort of big prize you get in here is actually the medical hut with the medicine woman. This is moving on to the bit when they obviously travel back to Springfield. She was quite a big character in the movie, because she kind of drove Homer to actually go and save Springfield in the movie. So it makes sense, and she's been seen so many other little times, little cameos and stuff. Honestly, I think out of all the characters from this movie, apart from Spider-Pig and also maybe probably Russ and Colin, she's probably the third biggest character there. And she probably should be, as in like new character, third biggest new character that was added. And I think it'd be pretty cool to see her doing her stuff there, being all kind of like mystical and all that. Two other little things, two other characters, I guess. There is another one though, but the first other character they should add is Colin. I know I've already done an idea, I've covered Colin and why he should come with the Guinness Bury, but I think he should probably, there isn't really a building he can come with. So if they made this event, they just add Colin as a normal, as a prize or something or whatever, and I'd be happy with that. Have him in Springfield, that'd be pretty cool. Stuff with Lisa, she's definitely a character they could really develop on. He could be added in Act 1. I've just kind of put him as Act 3 because it's kind of like a prize you get near to the end maybe. And also Emperor Mo, which is a costume for Mo, which is obviously when he kind of comes out and says he's in charge of Springfield now. I know there's not much they can do with this. I'm just trying to think of costumes that they could add. There are other ones as well, like Homer, in Alaska. But I just think this would be a pretty interesting costume for Mo, because he hasn't really got his ones now. They're okay, but I think this one would be a pretty interesting to see. And obviously, for a fact they're going to do a lot of costumes. The other thing is obviously when Homer was trying to free his family, so we got the wrecking ball, we've got, and obviously that little gag that he had when he was obviously bashing across the buildings. So we have the zesty fork, a hard place, and gas. He bashes across these buildings, doesn't he? So it's kind of a little gag thing. What they could probably do is they could have like a sort of quest line where he's with the wrecking ball and he's getting smashed across these buildings, or maybe so like the animation does that, but the actual wrecking ball itself is somewhere else. Maybe you get that as a prize. That'd be pretty cool actually. Do a task with getting crushed around on the zesty fork, then crushed on the hard place, crushed on that rock as well that we saw, and also crushed on the gas with the big guy with the axe. And then maybe at the end of that kind of quest line you get the wrecking ball. That'd be pretty cool, and I'd be pretty happy with that. It'd be a pretty funny little gag reel as well, wouldn't it? And moving on, just the last couple of ideas, we have the EPA scientist. He's the guy who joins with the koi pond. He was a big-ish character for that episode, because obviously he was, the guy telling Homer not to obviously hurt this caterpillar. But he's just kind of another one they can just do some little quest lines with. Have him maybe, I don't know, go to the hazardous centre and stuff. I don't know. The other thing is the EPA supplies. This is just a little. Obviously, you can also see the EPA truck there in the background. It's just another little place that Homer gets. Obviously, the jetpack or the super. No, he doesn't get the jetpack. He gets the super glue, not the jetpack. So yeah, that they could just add that in as well. And the final one is actually the actual bomb that they used to destroy Springfield with the bomb defusal robot. He was a pretty cool little character. I know he died, but they had deceased characters. He was repaired. Don't worry. That'd be pretty cool, add the bomb in, they could do, like, obviously tap it blows up or something, I don't know, or the actual, they could have a task with the robot defusing it or something. It'd be pretty cool to see. I'd like to see the little robot there. But, yep, that's the whole kind of idea of the whole, guys. I hope you enjoyed. It's pretty flexed out. I've tried my best to explain it, so it's a pretty cool 50-minute video. I hope 50-minute video. I hope you've enjoyed it. So tell me your thoughts on it. That's kind of all the Simpsons movie stuff covered. So don't ask me about Simpsons movie stuff anymore. Okay, I've done an idea on it. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.